Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only podcast that's also a slash fiction. My name is Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino the Genetic Marble. I am normally the only person that's of age to have watched 9/11 on TV on here, but not today. Not today. We're involving.
I did.
What? Yeah, but you couldn't turn the knobs because you were too little.
Fuck you.
And I'm Vince Carmichael, and the 9/11 videos I was watching while trying to jog my fat ass on a treadmill at Good Life.
Wow,
Thinking
that
that
is
it
an
was a
interesting
movie
memory.
premiere until I noticed it was on CNN, and I'm like, oh geez, I gotta go home.
Oh,
That's how that works.
that's interesting. Like the way we measure what a millennial is was, were you in school during 9/11? And that's a very interesting, like, where were you on 9/11 story? It's always fun to get it from our guests.
Let's be honest. It's
Yeah.
a wild experience. But yeah. So today's subject, as per the thumbnail, is fan fiction. So Vince and I do comedy here in Toronto, most regularly out in the Durham region, and Vince hosts shows, and he is so kind to let me on. Every once in a while he lets me host, and then he regrets it immediately, so I have to give him time to forget how bad it was when I hosted before he invites me back, kind of stuff. But
hi, I have the device from Men in Black. Can I host again?
Yeah, that's
Dino's not that bad. I've certainly had worse hosts. I've had hosts that quit in the middle of the job and decided that it was too late for them, and then I got to take back over.
like the idea that people do that is always something that makes me laugh. Like, on what planet is that okay? Like, it's this weird thing where people are like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it, I'm gonna go, and you're like, just relax, you gotta calm down. Yeah, it's always interesting. Now, fan fiction. So this is the weird thing, is that, good morning, Jim, how are you, sir? You guys have heard the whole thing about what was it that, like, so the reason that 50 Shades of Grey exists is because
It's Twilight fan fiction, right?
Yeah, Twilight fan fiction turned into that, and so on and so on and so on. And you're like, that's a horrible idea. But also you're going like, so I know a few women who have read 50 Shades of Grey, and they're like, it was the worst thing I've ever read because it's written so poorly. And then you're like, yeah, there's a movie of it. I don't understand. So, and realistically, good morning, Victoria. Oh, that's a different Victoria. Hey, there you go.
I mean, like, the trope of the Mary Sue exists because of fan fiction. The Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno and Paradiso, that's fan fiction. Him being like, I hate these particular people, so I'm gonna put him in hell with the people from other mythologies.
There's also a fan fiction that just recently got greenlit with a $3 or $4 million budget. That's a fan fiction of Harry Potter.
For real?
Really?
Yeah, that was they call it Dramini. It's a Draco Hermione slash.
There's also Star Kid, the people who did like musicals and Twisted. A lot of their early work was fanfic, a Harry Potter musical, a Harry Potter sequel. A Harry Potter senior year, Atlas mentions a musical, mark it on your bingo cards.
Check.
Ding. 50 Shades of Grey just needs some color. Yes, Jim. Nice.
Basically, yeah. Just need some color. That's
if they just need some color, get Disney involved. I'm sure there'll be some changes made. Is there a ginger in that movie anywhere?
Yeah.
I'm sure they can change that out.
That is factual. That is a factual thing. But yeah, so like, I think this is the weird thing is that, like, a lot of I think it's definitely like when you watch the movies in comparison to books, every time they have to cut out a certain chunk of information. right?
To hit that 2-hour runtime, right?
Right. Now, alternatively, like then you have things like Lord of the Rings, which still cut stuff out, but is also 9 hours of fantastic
Movie.
entertainment,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So, like, I actually just found a YouTube channel that just live streams like most of the like clips of it in order, and so it's like it's technically broken up, but you're like, yeah, I get it's all the good parts. Like, I just turn it on and start working out. I'll host,
but I like to quit.
in the middle of the show.
Okay, and that's
also
my
kind
time,
of
and I'll
the
get out of
idea-
here. Yeah.
That's also
Right.
kind of the idea with the Harry Potter HBO show, that they're supposed to be doing kind of more of a stretched out, properly book accurate series.
Mhm.
Which, like, and this is the thing. So, like, recently, I don't know. Have you guys been watching Alien Earth?
No.
No.
Okay, so it's on Disney, and essentially, it's a episode version of something happening with aliens coming to Earth. Okay, like from the Aliens movie with Sigourney Weaver, and it is awesome. Specifically because like they go into a lot more of the details of the world situation, who's actually in power, what does this mean, and and kind of explains a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that you never get into in the Alien movies, just because while yes, there's 47 of them, there's still more information to share, right?
Of course, there's more lore. That's a big part of fanfic I've noticed, is like your writer is like, I want to know more about this character that we don't really get to know a lot of. We're like, Vince, I teach I teach English, but like I taught a creative writing class at my old school, and a lot of the assignments had to like revolve around fan fiction, because that's how you get the kids interested, is like, this thing I'm interested in, I can write more about it. So like I would give assignments where it's like, what's a character that has like less than a minute of screen time, or less than a page of book time, now write a whole story based around them. And it's how you get interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, so Vince, you have been dabbling in writing your own stuff and everything. Now, can I ask what gave you the balls to go, I can write this shit? Because you've written a ridiculous amount already, but like, what made you say, you know what, I can add to this story? I can,
One of the things I do say in my comedy, it's one of the things that I have, is that I do have an addictive personality, and I would listen to 5 to 6 hours a day of podcasts when I was working before, and that just my favorite podcast went away, and I kind of got into Harry Potter fan fictions, the ones that I find on YouTube. I eventually kind of found AO3 and fanfiction.net, started using a screen reader, which gave me the opportunity to listen to just an obscene amount of different fan fictions. And there's stuff that I like in these fan fictions, and there's stuff that I don't. And I kind of wanted to piece together something that steers away from the stuff that I don't like, but incorporated parts and pieces of the stuff I do like from other fanfics.
Yeah.
To be the change you want to see in the world, right?
Exactly.
I don't know how it was for Gen X with the early internet, but for us millennials, we were, fanfiction.net and Wattpad and all that in the early 2000s was like heaven for, little dorky boys and girls like me, where it was like, I both want to like experience more of the world of the thing I'm obsessed with, or I want to put those thoughts down on paper. And a lot of it sucks, but like that's kind of the fun of like you getting to be in. Like I wrote a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender fan fiction when that show was like in the middle of its airtime. Like that came out when I was 11 and finished when I was 14. That is prime era of people using kung fu to shoot the elements at each other. And like writing fanfic about like characters that I didn't know a lot about yet, or only got shown once, and I'm like, what's happening with Long Fang after they leave Ba Sing Se,
my fanfic at that age was more slasher fics, like things that follow the Friday the 13th stuff. It's not it definitely wasn't anything that was of noteworthy, or even anything that was more in kind of the the zeitgeist of what's going on nowadays. And my love for Harry Potter kind of came from uh walking away from Disney's Star Wars stuff. I
Yeah.
loved what the expanded universe pre-Disney was with Star Wars, and had at an embarrassingly older age actually wrote to JK at one point after book 3 or 4, and suggested that she open the universe up to allow other authors in.
Yeah.
And kind of
Interesting.
that was probably the original seed for the idea of starting to write a fan fiction, but it definitely took root in all of the other fanfic that I've listened to now.
Hi, Victoria.
I love
Yeah.
the idea. So, like, probably on her end, I'm not sure about the actual content of the letter, but there's probably at least one part of JK that's like, is he being like, use me? Like, can I write
Oh,
canon Harry Potter fan fiction?
I guarantee it never made it to JK. It made it to some staffer
Yeah.
Probably. It's like,
that was
yeah.
replying stuff back out to all the kids who should be writing, and not to the
Yeah.
26, 27-year-old at the time that did write and suggest that. And
Dear Mr. Carmichael, while we appreciate the information, the dick pic was not necessary. Send back. Yeah.
Yours, has a big stamp for it. JK Rowling.
I mean, that's so I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but like there's a lot of development lore wise for a lot of stuff when it comes they do in comic book form. So like there's a lot more detail with graphic novels and stuff like that they will add to it. Like one of the things so I'm a huge Transformers fan, as you can see by my Lego Optimus Prime that I keep by my side to protect me from evil spirits. There's a huge comic book universe that developed, and that way create a lot more information. I used to be a comic book nerd. Well, I'm still a comic book nerd. I have a wall of comics right over there.
There's no I used to. Once a nerd for life. That's
but it's this weird thing where like I don't know, are there any Harry Potter comic books? Is that a thing yet or no? Just because like my opinion is they've done a really great job, as much as it is a slow job, but they have been trying to expand. Like then you have what's his face, the new ones, the
Fantastic Beasts
ones, which I'm like, that's pretty cool, and they're kind of trying to expand the universe, and then you're like, oh man,
well,
what's his face was always a horrible person. Yeah,
they had a companion book for Fantastic Beasts and for Quidditch Through the Ages. And the only reason I know this is my sister and I were obsessed with Harry Potter as kids, and she made me read them when I'm like 8 or something. So when the movie first came out, I was like, oh, cool. And then I kind of liked the first movie, and then it went completely off the rails. I wrote fan fiction from Gilligan's Island, Richard Simmons on Gilligan's Island. Jim, you're a visionary. That's perfect.
Everyone will be having a good time. Brelin, hello. How are you?
Hello. So the idea of like, your multi-million-dollar property that is now gaining popularity, of course you're going to release companion stuff. It's not just about like, what house are you with the merch? Speaking of which, Vince, what house are you for Harry Potter?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would love to say that I was something else, but I was definitely a Gryffindor.
Gay.
You know what's even gayer? I took that test on Pottermore 3 times. I got Hufflepuff all 3 times. My hand is glowing while I'm saying that. Which is 3 times Hufflepuff.
I don't remember everything from my time on Pottermore, but I do remember I was a Gryffindor.
Well, so hilariously, Victoria actually had shirts made for us because we went to the Harry Potter thing in London, which was super cool. But we're both Slytherin because we're bad people, basically. But we have
courageous, smart, loyal, and evil. Those are the 4 houses.
Yeah, evil right here. That's because I'm like, what are we be good with magic? No.
The best idea possible is to start sorting kids before puberty, into what they're going to be as adults.
Yeah, and they never change it too. Like
Never
it seems
change
like it seems like you would just redo the sorting ceremony every year.
I
then
mean, yeah.
Also maybe
That would
have
make
the houses interact more. Like
that would make the opening feast take about 18 hours.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe don't make it a ceremony like during the opening feast. Maybe just be like, hey, on the train, we're walking around with the sorting hat. And then
I feel like anybody who would I like that should be by choice. You're like, hey, I need to go through the sorting hat again. And you're like, you can opt in to get sorted again because you're like, you know what? These guys are weird. I'm not interested.
As a teacher, this is how this happens. You make friends with someone on the train that your first year.
Yeah.
You're in Ravenclaw, they're in Slytherin or whatever. And then they do the thing that all my students do, which is I'm only going to take a class because my friend's in it. Yep. So they're like, put me through the sorting ceremony again. And they're like, evil thoughts. And they're like, okay, Slytherin. Like, of course it's going to happen that way. These are children we're talking about.
Listen, teaching children magic in and of itself, that's a mistake.
Dude, I would totally watch or read a fan fiction where it's just like, you know, a teacher that has to go to professional development as a Hogwarts teacher. Or
so this is the thing.
Definitely deserve professional development, but I would have loved to have seen one kid at Hogwarts with Tourette's.
Oh yeah, so they're like firing spells off by accident.
One kid trying to spellcast with Tourette's.
Or
even better, I would love to see
fuck you, Armus. Yeah.
AJ Wilkerson running around trying to the comedian trying to run around and spellcast.
I mean, like it's this is the thing is that the idea behind a young people at magic school, you're like, nothing good is going to come from that. And let's be honest, I would be the wizard that would be like diarrhea and just boom. I would be, that's how I would take you out. You'd be talking to some girl and boom, diarrhea.
Right.
Yeah.
The other problem with Hogwarts and having kids, and this is something I'm running into with my fic, is that Harry Potter goes through school between 11 and 18. And Harry Potter is essentially the cross section between the star quarterback and either Batman or Superman.
Yeah.
I say one or the other because he has zero preparation, so he can't really be Batman, but he is rich. Or he rushes ahead and saves everything all the time. He should be getting dragged into every broom cupboard in the school constantly. But how do you portray that on an 11-year-old?
I mean, he definitely got molested by a couple of those teachers. Let's be honest. Specifically, the one in the garden. What's her face? Yeah,
Sprout.
Yeah. She looked like a handsy one. Yeah, that's
dark.
Yeah, it's just factual. Listen, we all know those teachers, and you're like, don't go near them.
By the time he has that crying kiss with Cho, he should already be well on his way to doing a lot more than just his first snog.
I mean,
what's the deal? Like, it seems like Hogwarts would be a lot hornier than it actually is.
I think the lady from the Sprout, she is definitely dosing them to calm down their libido for sure. Because you know what? Hey, there's no way.
The handsy one, it's Trelawney because she's constantly drunk too.
Yeah,
which one is that?
True. Trelawney's the one with the crystal
divination
ball,
teacher.
Divination.
Oh yeah. She looks like she's like, it's free love, man. You're like, no, it's not. That is called child support. Just how dare you? But that's the thing too. Is like there's so Vince and I had talked about this before. Is like he's like, yeah, I can't write that kind of stuff because they're children, and that sends you to a goddamn jail. And you're like, that's also the weird thing is like the amount of women who were fawning over what's his face Pattinson off of Twilight, where you're like, you're a predator. Like, what do you? And they're like, I have a statue in my house and I sleep with a pillow shaped like him. And you're like, you're a pervert. It's weird shit, right?
I gotta give Robert Pattinson credit because after the Twilight series concluded, he sort of just like took some time to himself and then chose his projects very carefully.
Yeah.
Afterward, and he kind of was able to get away from that reputation.
Well, and like if have you guys seen Mickey 17?
Yeah, I loved it.
It's
It was great.
fantastic. Just watching. So essentially, he's a disposable worker.
Yeah,
Is the whole thing, and he goes
literally
through. Yeah. So the book is called Mickey 7. And the guy who wrote the movie is like, we're gonna do 17 times. I'm gonna kill you. He's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And
10
each
times.
time they bring him back, and his personality changes, right? So it's this weird. He does a great job in it, but also it's fucking hilarious because you're like watching him die.
It's a very good satire.
Oh yeah. But like,
highly recommend it.
It's this weird thing where you're going like, so, like especially also. There's a good chance Hermione might be Batman. Let's be fair.
Hermione is the one who spends all that time preparing for stuff.
Yeah, well, yes. And also too, technically, she had to kill her own parents. Like, she disappeared herself. I'm like, that's kind of the same kind of trauma. It's very similar. Just saying.
Wait, are you implying that Bruce Wayne killed his own parents?
Well, no, but he holds them dying as him being responsible because he was the one who wanted to go to the movies. And he wanted
depending on what movie lore you're talking about, he sort of did by being a bitch in the play that he got scared about and caused them to leave early, which got them jacked by Joe Cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, in each one of the things, he felt a certain amount of responsibility, and Hermione, I think she got a little joy about zapping her parents, but she seems like a weirdo. Let's be honest.
It's a little too straight-laced and bookish.
It's still funny to me that like Harry Potter is essentially he's a jock. He's a rich jock, and he becomes a cop after. That's like the most milquetoast thing you could become. But because go
ahead.
Because the book is third person limited, so we only get Harry's inner thoughts and feelings about people. You tend to empathize with him more, but I guarantee you, if this was like from a distance, you'd be like, dude, fuck this Harry Potter kid.
He's sort of like Mike from Bad Boys, the same thing, rich guy who becomes a cop for whatever reason, and it's just not really addressed.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be at least one.
We were talking earlier about expanded universe, and I know there's been flirting out there that they want to do the Marauders era, and I'd also like to see that 19 years after between the end of book 7 and that kind of epilogue where they're all meeting again on the Hogwarts platform.
Yeah. What happens at the school afterward? Because you would have to make new characters for this, where it's like none of these, aside from the professors who would still be there, but all the students would just be like, okay. Most of the kids that they had come to know were graduating soon. So like in that time, it becomes probably this big legend of like, that part of the castle's still under construction. Why? Because Wizard Hitler was here. Just fucking. Well, it'll be done right after you graduate because that's how it works at whatever school you go to.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I think that would be like a great place to write about, but it's like you have to make new characters for it.
Yeah.
There's a stage play. This isn't a musical, just a stage play called Puffs, where it's like, what are the Hufflepuffs doing the entire time Harry Potter's going about his business? So they have their own characters for it, which is interesting.
The Hufflepuffs are cultists. I feel like they're all drinking Kool-Aid and free love down in the Badger Den.
Free love probably. They're definitely.
It goes along with Dino's thought that Sprout would be anti-touch and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, Sprout is giving them weed, so it like dulls the senses. She's doing a Brave New World down there, like just giving them the equivalent of Soma.
This is the thing is, I feel like all of the wizards, like all of the teachers, have very likely backstories of being some sort of having like a villainous.
It is a private school.
Like every one of them, you're kind of going, oh, they're secretly like outside, like on summer break, they're all supervillains. Like there has to be some sort of,
I would read the fuck out of
Dominatrix.
Yeah.
with how straight laced and buttoned up she is.
Or McGonagall is probably like a partier. She seems like that kind of person.
Yeah.
I
I think Vince actually sent me, it was like AI pictures of like the party afterward, and it's like you have like Harry with a doob in his mouth and all the teachers just partying. There's like a fist fight in there, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, also, okay, so a little known thing was Plato of history was also a bodybuilder, and like sometimes as his argument he would just like flex his back at his debate opponent and be like, I'm bigger than you, you just have to obey me. And I'm like, how much you want to bet like there's someone in that world who's like, I don't use a wand, I punch my spells at you, and it's like bam, and they're just like, I just shit my pants. And like that's like, I feel like there's got to be more than one way, right?
I feel like if anybody, and this goes back to your 1 minute of screen time person and have a backstory, I feel like that would be Cormac McLagan, the guy that tried to be the keeper in sixth year.
Yeah.
Or fifth year or whatever it was. But
yeah,
at the same time, make it into a comedy, and every time he tries to punch his spells out at somebody, something goes wrong. His pants fall down. He falls on his ass. It's just he's wants
I'd
to
watch
flex on everything, and every time it ends wrong for him.
I mean, it's the greatest Max Powers story ever. He's like, oh, Max Powers.
I would totally watch or read like a wizard public school. Like what does that look like where you have the Ministry of Magic breathing down their asses all the time of like, is your pedagogy up to date? Are you doing the standards for magic?
Well, have you seen Key and Peele did the
inner city magic school, right? I will turn you into a spider. Yeah.
Hilarious. It is some of the funny, because they also have like Mad Eye Moody as just a black guy, and
right?
It's fucking hilarious. Yeah. He's like, not my school, so bitches. Yeah.
No, that's great.
If the Ministry of Magic is breathing down anybody, they should be breathing down Hogwarts for all of the times that those guys get, all the times Harry almost dies.
I mean, totally. Yeah.
Or the time that people do die. Like, no one answered for Moaning Myrtle, like, ever.
I mean, yeah.
50 years later.
Yeah, well, it was the 30s, right? The 30s or the 40s she gets killed, because it's when Voldemort is there as a student.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now I want to see Moaning Myrtle like have been more like 30s coded.
Well, like, and Moaning Myrtle was the only one in that entire school that seemed like they were perverted at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was very horny, definitely.
Well, also too, she just spent like, 50 years watching people pee because she's in the bathroom, right? Like, that's got to do something to your mind, Some girls in there,
the worst curse of all, you can't touch anything as a ghost.
I mean, yeah, like, let's be honest, like there's a certain trauma that you're like, oh my god, you like watching someone else, you're like, they walk in, they're like, man, that was some great tacos we had for lunch, and you're like, no, and everyone's like, right, and you're just like, that's gotta ruin your whole perspective on life or death.
For people listening, I should have said this earlier. Every time Dino mentions shitting yourself, take a shot. You'll be wasting.
People would get very drunk. Let's be honest.
Yes.
That's Vince saw me the first time I dropped that joke where I'm like, I'm a firm believer that you stop shitting your pants, then now you're a proper member of society, and then you start shitting your pants, and that's your retirement. Like, you have that middle ground of not shitting your pants is when you're a part of society and you're supposed to talk about things, okay, and be a good person and an adult and stuff. And then but then someone's like, hey, I shit my pants last week. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you're an adult either. And he's like, I'm older than you. I'm like, oh, that's fair. You should be retiring. So,
I think a lot of people need to go back to being able to talk about things. I find that a lot of the fights that we hear about down in the States and how people can't deal with each other over political lines is because nobody talks to each other anymore.
True. I mean,
there's a like all the. It's not the only reason, but the sort of like the algorithm and you're in your own little bubble a lot of the time. We had the No Kings protests here in the States yesterday. Never mind. Okay, so it was all over. Like, not only I went to the one like for my neighborhood, but it was all over fucking LA. Like, there were pictures of downtown, which was a lot of people. But as I went about my day, I saw like them on pretty much every corner.
Sure.
For everywhere I went, and I was like, shit, dude, like that's pretty cool. And then looking at the pictures from other cities, hell, even in other countries, they're doing it too. Like the famous one was in Dublin, but didn't they do it up in Toronto as well? Or
we have a king, and you know what? He probably would do a better job.
I believe for you guys and for the UK, they said no tyrants.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely legitimate with you. So everyone knows, Atlas and I have very different political views, and we do this show as friends, and we maintain it, knowing full well. He sends me weird shit, and I send him weird shit back, and he's like, "You're a monster." I'm like, "Yeah, you are too," in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
no, it's us constantly ripping on each other until we die. It'll be great.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. Have that ability to talk to each other, take the piss out of each other without it ruining a friendship or a family.
Yeah. So this is the whole thing, is that in actuality, like let's be realistic, is I think we could do better having one tyrant for, a good solid 15 years, change things around. I don't think that it's a good idea, but things aren't great right now. Okay. Yeah. Things haven't been great for 30 years. Let's be honest, right?
We had our 15-year run with our tyrant. He liked to soften that blow, but
But this is the thing.
Santa
is
Barbara estimated 30,000 people, or a population is 100,000. God damn, Jim, that's awesome.
See, but this is the whole thing, is there's like, and I like to tell people that realistically, politicians have stopped working for people, and that's a problem, because their job as a politician is to represent their constituents, and they're like, no, my job is to get reelected. You're like, that's definitely not your job. Like, that is the least of your concerns, and if you actually thought of your constituents, you would be reelected because you did that, right? So it's we're in a very bad time of mismanagement of propaganda, that's for sure.
There are things that are contradictory but both true at the same time. The first one being that because we have a two-party system, both parties in general are not doing enough for the working class. People are not getting their needs met. At the same time, not voting isn't fixing anything either, because politicians are a bus, not a transporter. Like, you kind of have to go with the less shitty one at the time. At the same time, however, it's important to participate in your primaries and your state and local elections. I assume it works the same way up in Canada, but whatever the small are you guys states? The parts of Canada?
Municipal, provincial, and federal.
Okay,
and we have three parties, but realistically, nobody takes the middle one seriously. So
because they're ridiculous. Let's be honest.
Yeah. We have 5, but we really don't take the other 2 seriously at all. The 3 major ones, we don't take the middle one seriously of the 3 majors.
The people who elected them, they would give us health insurance. If they thought about the people who elected them, they would give us health. Oh, he's like repeating it over and over. Got it.
No, that's the thing, is like, America is one of the richest countries on the planet, and they're like, no, we don't want healthcare. You're like, why don't you want healthcare?
People are voting for healthcare. Yes. But it's like a ballot measure or something, and then like party leaders have been like, we're just going to ignore that, and it's like, dude, fuck you. Or like I think it was Missouri where they voted to enshrine abortion protections in the state constitution, and then the Missouri Republicans were like, fuck you, we're just not going to do that. So
listen, but that's the thing, is this is the weird part, right, Alice? And this
we went off the rails from fan fiction.
This is
we're way off the rails in fanfics,
but is that people are like, no, you should have abortions covered. You're like, hey, how about life-saving treatment covered first, and then we can hash that out later. Let's get the baseline of nobody fucking dying on the streets because they couldn't get a bed because they have the flu and it might kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
that would be under the thing of universal health care.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, but the idea is that, and this is where I think people are misled, is that, hey, if you have health, like, look, if something happens to me, I'm going to call an ambulance and have them come. Atlas, you yourself have been in a situation where you're like, don't call the ambulance. I can't afford the $3,000. You're like, and I hear stories of people are like, call me an Uber. I need you to go to the ambulance. They're like, why don't you call an ambulance? You're like, no, that's too much money. An Uber is cheaper. And you're like, you're bleeding. Call an ambulance, right? That's mental, right? And that's where like, and like, look, our healthcare is also under attack, right?
Really?
And shenanigans. You have now, so we have a ton of people who don't have doctors who use the emergency room as their doctor. And you're like, that's not helpful. And people are like, yeah, you just have a cold and you came here and you gave everyone else a cold because you're stupid, right? Mm-hmm. There's these ideas where, and this is where, like, not to try and tie it back in, is the idea that people have these crazy ideas when you're like, hey, you haven't taken the time to think about stuff, right? Like, if you really consider it, the idea of somebody wanting to do better for everyone is a good idea. The problem is that in turn, they're going to stand there going, okay, but I'm going to do better for my friends. No. Everyone deserves to be treated better. Not just your friends, not just your people. No, everyone deserves better than what we got. Why? Because if we can make billionaires, yet still have homeless, we have failed, right? Mm-hmm. If I can have magic, I should be able to shoot diarrhea at somebody. Just boom, diarrhea.
Actually, that's a very good.
Take another shot.
Yeah, take another shot. Now, how come in Harry Potter, magic? You can use magic for essentially anything. Like the idea of how spells are made. Like people are still making up spells. Like Snape made up Sectum Sempra.
Yeah.
Why is money still a thing?
Well,
why is that a problem? Like the Weasleys are poor. Why? Like why can't you just poof? Like that's it?
So
your magic system is too soft to really.
Well, okay. So Bellatrix Lestrange. Remember when let's be very clear, because I see you two both looking down on me when I mention things. I've only watched the movies. I'm not reading the book. Okay, it's not going to happen. It's just I have better things to do. The only Harry Potter I'm reading is the one that my friend wrote. The rest of them I don't give a shit. Right?
Yeah.
So, she had that thing where everything that got touched duplicated, right? So, all money should mean nothing. Right, like I'm with you on that, and like the idea that gold is their currency. You're like, okay, like I always like the idea where Harry went to Gringotts and they brought him to his place and it was like just a stack of gold, and you're like, bro, let's be honest, that kid would have walked out of there wearing some pimp ass clothes, be like, I'm going shopping, not here. I'm going to the real world. I'm getting me some fly shit, right? Like that's.
Which, to be honest, let's be thankful that they didn't go that way, because it could have turned into Harry was doing the Spider-Man 3 finger guns. And nobody needs that. But yes, he definitely should have gone out and got better clothes.
Yeah.
My wife says because you can't use magic in the Muggle world, stupid OMG. Sabrina had the same rules. Don't embarrass me in there.
Hey, and they're all bad rules. They're all bad rules. Like, okay.
This is what happens when I have to keep the door cracked because Pumpkin needs to come and go.
She's listening and she's like, don't you fucking make me look stupid. Yeah, no, it's fine. Jim, my ambulance ride for my car accident cost $7,000. Did they take you in a plane? See, this is stupid. This is stupid shit, right? So the idea.
Talk about it another day. Yeah.
No. It's the idea that you can't use magic in the Muggle world. You're like,
what do you mean? Yes, you can.
You 100% can, right? And let's be honest. There's no way that magic doesn't exist. We just don't know how, where, why, and all those kind of things. And also, too, every woman you meet, possibly a witch. I'm just putting that out there. Even okay,
like, okay, so
yeah,
the implication is that they don't want to use magic in the Muggle world because the last time they tried to do something like that, they got burned at the stake, right? Like they're like, Muggle kind won't understand us, and like that's kind of shown through Vernon in the first chapter of the first book, where he's like, okay, who the fuck no, none of this. I'm going back inside, which is fine, but in their own world, they have their own currency. Why is that even a problem? Why can't they just be like, yeah, free love, poof, get your basic needs met?
Roofie colada, poof.
I personally, that was one of the things I really hated about the movies and the books, was that Harry kept getting sent back to an obviously abusive household.
Yes,
and
it builds character, Vince.
In the fic that I wrote, I dealt with that in the first chapter.
What did you do?
Both Dursleys got zapped with lightning like Zeus, and they're gone.
not just like, oh, that's a warning. That's
no. There was no
Yeah.
way that Dumbledore was going to be sending Harry back to the Dursleys, because there is no more Dursleys.
Yeah, and
Even
the way
better.
they
just
explained it in
ended
the
them
book,
early.
the way they like explained it in the book was like, the house has protection from Voldemort. Fuck you. Blow them up and move someone in. Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a certain amount of, also too, why couldn't Harry's bedroom under the staircase be expanded like the tent and the like all the other things, where like he opens the door and it's like a mansion instead?
There has been a few fan fictions that I've heard actually do that, where Sirius escaped, or Lupin ends up finding him, and they expand the cupboard under the stairs and live with him for a few years, and just completely make fun of the Dursleys, and they don't know anything about it.
That's pretty cool.
Like, let's be honest, if you had money and unlimited space, you're like, bro, I'm having a hot tub in my bedroom. I'm gonna do a Scarface style, and I'm just gonna be watching in my jacuzzi, watching the TV, just chilling out. That's good times, right?
They open the door to yell at him, "You get out of here, you cockroach!" Like,
that's 100%. Like it's this weird thing where you're going like, the possibilities are endless, right? So it's like, and let's be honest, is the fact is, how do you think someone feels when it's like, I wrote a story and then a fanfic comes out and you're like, this is so much better than the shit I wrote. You're like, God damn it. Like, there's got to be that.
There's definitely fan fictions out there that that fix a lot of the plot holes and plot armor that was built into J.K. Rowling stuff. Not having been on this podcast before, I got a question for Atlas in his teacher mode. One of the things, it is something that I actually dislike in my fanfics, but I've managed to incorporate, is I am throwing a lot of Easter eggs into it, probably more than I should. And it's with Dino, it's having said that, having brought up Scarface, it's one that I intend to put in there at some point, is coming up with one-liners that people would know or could know, depending on how old they are. Obviously, Scarface is a little older than what most people would get. How do you feel with your students when they go and they bring in fan service, for lack of a better term, into their stories?
I kind of like it because it means they've been paying attention enough to like pull in stuff. And most of the writing that people do is derivative of something else to one degree or another. So I think the like showing your inspiration in one way or another, like Dino has read my terrible short story about the Truman Show-esque bubble that that I wrote while I took my seizure meds twice by accident. What were you gonna say, Dino?
He entered a fugue state, and everything.
I entered a fugue state.
Yeah, it was a fugue state, and the writing was, you know what? The writing was fantastic. The premise, ideology, and characters made me want to shoot my phone while I was reading it. I was like, I need to make this not just disappear from all of existence.
there's
Well,
a
at
bunch
least
of
you actually
references.
read his. You still haven't read mine, and I gave you it over a month and a half ago. First
Mine
time.
is a flash fiction, so it's only like 1,000 words. Like it's really short.
And that's maybe the problem that I
yeah.
have. I think when I gave Dino it the second time, it was sitting at about 160,000 words.
Okay. The one I'm working on right now is considerably longer. And as I'm writing it right now, there are definitely things that I'm writing. I'm like, okay, that's a reference to this. That's a reference to
I just
that.
want to make sure
And
you send it to me September 21st. I was getting ready for Halloween already, sir. You have not sent it to me 2 months ago, you son of a bitch.
It's
okay?
a month later.
It's not even a month, and I have been scaring the living shit out of people. Surprisingly, a lot less kids, but a lot of adults. A lot of adults.
Literally, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's been fun.
But yes, there are definitely things as I'm writing it where like either during or after where I'm like, oh shit, that's a reference to this or that. And I think that's just kind of how people write. Like I'm teaching The Great Gatsby to my seniors right now. And it, like with every other book I teach, I make sure to do a little like intro session before we start the book about like what was going on in the world at the time. Because it helps people understand the book more. Of like, I'm talking to them about World War I talk about Spanish flu, I talk about the Harlem Renaissance, because it helps like even just little references to things that Fitzgerald like slides in there.
Yeah.
If you're going in blind, you're like, what the fuck is this? But if you give them that background, people understand it more. So I think, if your writing is found by somebody in 100 years, they probably wouldn't understand unless they research this time in American history.
No, I've got way too
Canadian
many
history.
disparate nods and winks to different things. Like there's Deadpool references in there. There's Letterkenny chirps. There's nods towards the Princess Bride. There's just a wide variety of
like
stuff.
pop culture influences the way people write, like your narrative voice, and like of course it's going to be in there. So the more you absorb and the more you're able to, it kind of gives you more enjoyment. You having a good time there, Pumpkin?
That your dog is a molester. But that's the whole idea, right? Is like you write from your own experiences, right? In the same way you do comedy from your own experiences, you produce content. Like that's why I get so enraged when people will post content and it's their reaction to somebody else's content. You're like, that's not.
I hate that stuff. Yeah. My wife really hates that stuff, especially all the people doing what they thought of Bill Burr's stand-up. So you're just cribbing off of somebody else, off of a genius, and being surprised that he's funny.
Well, what makes it worse is when people will have the clip underneath them and they're like, ha, 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 ha. Then the clip ends. They're like, so what I found funny about this, you're like, just shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth immediately. Nobody wants to talk to you. Like that's some crazy shit. And you're just like, it's the same idea. I told this story before where I'm like, we went to, when I was a financial planner, we had people who'd have like knowledge sessions where we would have like industry leaders and CEOs come and give talks. You get dinner, a couple of drinks, and they were like, bring clients out to try and, sweeten the pot. Right. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, the associate vice president that was the head of our area gets up at the end of it. And like the last topic, if you were into it, it was very informative, but also she was a knockout. So you're like, so people stayed for the boring topic for reasons, whatever they were, it was fine. But then the guy who's
I'm here for the info as much as the TNA.
Yeah, fair, right? Well, and it's a boring topic that only if you're interested would you have found it interesting. So like all of us who were staff were like, oh, this is actually really good information. And then other people were like, oh, it's okay information. She's boring as shit, but quite the looker. So in turn, though, the head of the area came up and then he started asking questions. He goes, so what did you guys think of that? Who had an opinion on that? And all of my clients that I brought who like, they also attended my wedding. Like they were close personal friends at that point that I've had clients for years. We're like, hey, I'm not staying for this shit. Right. And I'm like, no, you can go. And he was like, why is everyone leaving? And you're like, yeah, because the show's over, bro. You're just saying, thanks for coming, everyone. Have a great night. It's the same like hosting a show. where at the end you're like, you don't go up and start, oh, I'm gonna do 5 minutes at the end of the show after the headline. No. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks. Drive safe or not. I'm not your mother. Go fuck yourself and just end the show, right? So
the dance 10 looks 3 has left. I'm out. Like
and it's this weird thing where that happens, right? It just drives me insane. But that's the whole idea where you're like, I think the idea of fan fiction is key on adding layers to the lore, the story, or character development that you're like, that actually makes a lot more sense, right? Because you're like, oh, like through the movies you realize that Draco Malfoy, you're like, oh, he wasn't just in a shitty family situation. His parents were also in a shitty family situation, and they were under the thumb of the powers that be. Like, that's not, you're going, oh, so product of his environment, but also he may not actually be a shitty person. He's just in a shit situation that he has no choice to. And he's like, I'm a
victim of circumstance. Yeah.
It's, to a degree, right? And then you realize you're like, you know what? His parents failed him. That's what actually happened, right? And he tried, and whether it's the same in the book or in the movie, but like in the end, he tried to do the right thing at certain points, and you're kind of going, you know, and we've all seen people who are like, oh, you've never been told no in your life, and you think everything is your way or the highway. Yeah, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Like, what? You're like, yeah, because I don't give a shit, and I'm not your parents. I'll kill you. I don't care. Right?
I think ultimately what makes fan fiction what it is people believing in death of the author and taking that into their own hands. Do you believe that, Vince?
I don't know about death of the author per se. I mean, there are definitely some fiction authors that I've watched and read that I like their work, and I like how they've gone, and or whether it's them or whether it's their family has allowed people to write characters based on what they've previously written. Specifically, Robert Ludlum has some great novels from the Bourne trilogy and stuff that the universe expanded beyond him after his passing. That was where I was kind of touching on the letter that I wrote to JK was referencing Star Wars, and even though the original author isn't really George Lucas, it was his universe, it was his sandbox to play in, and he kind of let everybody in to have their little say or their little part of that sandbox. Yeah. That was kind of where I wanted things to go with the Harry Potter universe, and this was all before I had actually ever encountered AO3 or fanfiction.net. So learning that there is this giant world out there that you can play in, that everyone's playing in, that are taking a piece of it for themselves.
Yeah. And like ultimately that kind of is what English class is. It's everyone getting different conclusions from the same text, and in fan fiction's case it's doing something with it, and everybody's experience who are writing different types of fan fiction are doing so in different directions. They're not all writing the same thing about the same person at the same time. And I think that's kind of what makes it beautiful in its own shitty little way, where it's like, you know, you have an entire trope named after shitty fan fiction of like making your character too strong for their own good and making it boring as a result. But it's still this like, it's like, you know, when you go into a tide pool at the beach and there's like little creatures doing their own thing and it's beautiful to watch, but it's also just a shitty little tide pool in the ocean that is writing.
See, and alternatively too, is there's the side of things where like, I like the idea of, so I was reading a series of books a while ago about a guy who ends up going with a vampire, and he's like
Star Wars is Joseph Campbell fan fiction.
Star Wars. So fair. Is the idea where he became partners with a vampire, and he was exposed into the vampire world, and so on and so on and so on. And he was like, yeah, we would hang out for like movie nights, and it's weird because they always cheer for the bad guy, and you're kind of going like, that's fucking hilarious because you're like, you're in this universe where you're like, oh, vampires are bad. You're like, no, vampires are vampires. Then they choose to be good or bad because, you know, like it's that idea where people are like, people will attack me and I'll be like, I do not hate you for the color of your skin or the country of your origin. I hate you for who you are as a human being. And I will make fun of you to no end because, you know, I think you're a bad person, not bad people. That's different, right? That would make me a bad people. I'm not bad people. So
There
but
are
like,
certainly, sorry, Dino, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
There are certainly people in the fan fictions that I've listened to that do exactly what you were saying, Atlas, about making Harry just way overpowered. I do find one of the things I find more troubling are the ones that, um, for whatever their reason, are trying to deal with their own personal trauma by just using Harry as a torture doll. He is to me, and I mean, I don't go out into I don't venture out too far into fan fiction world outside of Harry Potter, but I've never seen a character get beaten up more than that, other than maybe Wile E. Coyote.
Of course, this means war.
Used constantly.
Yeah.
That was again. That was one of the reasons why I torched the Dursleys right off the hop on mine, was because of the number of people that just torture Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, like to balance the scales a little bit. And again, probably like for a lot of people, fan fiction is how they're processing stuff. I've definitely used it for that same thing before. Not fan fiction, but just writing in general. Like it's a way of dealing with stuff. Like there's a book I love called House of God that is about like interns in the 70s for being doctors. And the guy who wrote it was like, he wrote it as he was going through his internship. Like he'd get up and write a few pages and then go to work. Right. And it was his way of dealing with like how fucked up the medical system is for the 1970s. And it continues to be a popular book with doctors to this day because the medical system continues to be fucked up in different ways, but it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
I saw recently when I was doom scrolling through TikTok the other day. I don't know if either of you guys know the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was written by a guy while he was working as a server at a TGIF.
Fantastic.
Oh.
You gotta have more flair, sir. More flair.
Yeah.
That was entirely this guy's lived experience while he was going through being a waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Severance was written, I think by Ben Stiller, while he was working an office job for a time, I think. Or wait, let me make sure I get the facts right on that.
It was while he was filming Tropic Thunder. That's what it was.
No. I want to sure I get this right. Okay, sorry. Dan Erickson.
A good Tropic Thunder reference. It is the last time anybody was able to do blackface and get away with it.
I mean,
sorry.
Yeah.
Dan Erickson, the creator of Severance, wrote it while he was working an office job. Ben Stiller directed a bunch of episodes. Wires got crossed. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is the most believable story is and us being all comedians, like the best story is a story that actually happens and then you narrate it properly, right? You add a little bit, you indulge a little bit, you push a little bit and stuff like that. But like, so as an example, I had a guy yesterday who came through and he's like, I'm not afraid. And I'm like, that's because you're dumb. Now, what I wanted to say, and I thought about it afterward, I'm like, oh, this would have been funnier. And I'm probably going to do it as a bit, is be like, sir, when a 300-pound land monster who looks like who can eat you like a kebab, wearing someone else's face as a mask and holding an 8-inch cleaver comes at you and you say you're not afraid, that is not bravery. That is an ID 10T issue. You're a dum-dum, you know? And you're like, that's a lot funnier. Why? Because you explain the situation and you're going, listen, he was like maybe 5'4". And I'm like, bro, if you're not, he's like, I'm not afraid. I'm like, that's because you're stupid. That's not because you're brave. That's not, you know?
Or
and all his friends are like,
yeah, he's himself, right? To get
just a little bit of Napoleon complex.
Yeah, and like
it's
I had
that
a little
affirmation.
Yeah, I had a little kid try to body me, and I'm like, "What?" And I just pushed him out of the way. I looked at what was clearly his older brother. I'm like, "Is this yours?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Explain to him why he's stupid." And then I pushed the kid down. I'm like, "This is ridiculous."
There was one of my friends. He's a substitute teacher,
Yeah.
and he was subbing at a middle school, and one of the kids like tried to get aggressive with him and like tried to push him, but it just kind of he did a push up off of my friend.
Yeah.
Because it's a 12-year-old doing this to a 30-something-year-old, just going boop.
Yeah, and you're like, that's not.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Stupid. So where are people allowed to read this,
Not
Vince,
yet.
or are you keeping this
It
under
hasn't
wraps
been
for
released yet, only because I'm coming up to the end of third year. And one of the things that I've found that I dislike about the fictions that are put on, I'd rather drop it like Netflix and drop the whole series all at once
Okay.
rather than drop it. I mean, I could drop for book 1 and book 2, but I haven't had anybody that has been brave enough to or not busy enough to get through beta reading the first 2 books for me to start dropping it.
How
Okay.
dare
What
you?
if you just drop book 1?
I could drop book 1.
Listen, I'm gonna read it. Hey, you know what? I need you to send me the program you use that reads it out loud for you, because in November I'm driving to Florida, and so I'm going to actually play it for my wife and I in the car, and I'm gonna text you play by play of how good and or bad it is, just to ruin your day.
Okay.
So
whatever
do
it is
that.
we decide to
Do you have an iPhone or an Android? Do you know?
Android. I have an
Okay,
Android.
I'm not sure what program it is because we just have an e-reader on Apple that you can use on your phone.
All right, I'll
It's
do some
already built
research.
in.
I'll find
Whatever it is he decides to do, either when you finish, Vince, I'll come back and update the episode in the description, or if you decide to drop book 1, I'll put it in when this episode comes out on Friday. But where can people find and follow you on social media?
Vince Carmichael on Facebook, Vince Carmichael 3 on Instagram. I'm gonna start actually putting some more of my comedy clips on there. TikTok, I kind of just follow people creepily. I don't really post any content there.
I'm Vince Carmichael. Wait, what was the thing we were talking about before the episode started about the Russian ladies who were
the night witches?
Vince Carmichael, the Night Witch. Sure.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
I would.
Vince Carmichael on TikTok as well, but I really don't post any content on there.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But I put all my comedy content, all my comedy dates when I'm hosting the show that I run in Ajax on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. If you're ever looking for something to do on Friday, it is at the Tudor Rose is that in Oshawa? It's in Oshawa, right?
It's in the south end of Ajax, just south of the hospital on Harwood.
There you go. So go check it out. It's a great show Friday nights, and it's a fantastic venue. You get to see some great comics drop some heat. And it's Friday. Go fucking enjoy yourself.
You can follow this show at Generation Dan on all the social medias, on YouTube and Instagram and all that. Follow me other way at Atlas Novak, wherever fine social medias are found, on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. I think I'm the Epileptic Comic on there, if I'm not mistaken. Or you can check out my other show, Nexus at Night, which is about the trading card game Card Fight Vanguard. There's not a lot going on in that trading card game. So this last Friday, our stream was about, we did like pull a creative writing assignment out of our ass, and we were talking about how Jared Leto kills any franchise he's in. So we did like this short scene of these like studio execs deciding to hire him, like the producers, right? Where they like, let's hire him to kill our studio and then take out a bunch of shorts on it in the stock market. So anyway, check that out. Where can people follow you, Dino?
I just picture Slurms McKenzie is like, I'm so tired. Bring Jared Leto to kill this for me. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I liked Morbius. I'll say it. I don't care. I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. You can find me on social media. I mostly post about food I eat and things that I do over the course of the day. And then, of course, we have these shows. My show, Morning Motivational Rant, has returned to Thursday mornings with Crystal. That is happening. But yeah, my podcasts are kind of all over the place while I am working at a haunted house, which is brings me so much joy. I'll be honest with you, the more I scare people, the more I work during October scaring people, the more normal I am through the winter. It's a great process. I highly recommend it to anyone, but check it out, everyone. And yeah, that is all we have. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will be back next week. Have a great one.
Bye, everyone.